Good afternoon, and welcome to the September 22nd, 2021 meeting of the Energy and Environmental Advisory Committee. We'll call the meeting officially to order. Here this evening, we have a number of our members, Matt Piston and Bob Knauer at the dais. In the audience, Sarah Waterman, Sabrina Renner, and Mark Valentine. We may be joined by Sinette Cavalier, who is traveling for business, but wanted to zoom in if she could. And we should have possibly Phyllis Ely, who may be joining us a little bit later. So welcome to everyone. Thank you for being here. Let's jump right in. And so our major topic today is the CCA, no different than a few of our other meetings. However, at this point, I think we have some great information to share and some updates about what's going on. It's been a great process that we have gone through. I appreciate the efforts from all the committee members to weigh in during the course of the whole process. And at this point on our agenda, I probably should have reversed the order, Sarah's comments and updates, and then getting into the discussion that we're going to have on October 4th. So with that, I might recognize Sarah Waterman, who's kind of been our shepherd here to be the interface between Good Energy and the town and this committee to give us a little bit of an update of what's going on. So, Sarah, the floor is yours.
Great. So the town board did approve a CCA program with a 50% renewable default option of 5.733 cents per kilowatt hour. That is just below, almost equivalent to the last 3-month look back. The board also approved a 100% opt-up option for 100% renewable. That is at 6.443 cents per kilowatt hour. So that is above that last 3-month trailing. So far, we are currently in the education phase of that, looking to have the program actually start in December. October 4th is the upcoming public information meeting where the public can come into the town hall, raise comments through the town website or by phone call, as well as view it on multiple sources, which are noted on the town website. Postcards should be getting to mailboxes late this week, early next week. And we'll also have some extra postcards that we can put at the town hall for people to pick up, as well as other town buildings. Social media items will probably be going out in the next week or so. And we're all moving forward.
Okay. So I think it's important to discuss a little bit about the pricing component, if we could, Sarah. And I don't have the exact numbers right before me. But I think it's important, and I think what we'll hear as part of the discussion for the public information meeting as to the RG&E rate. The RG&E rate itself, while it appears to be, one might say, significantly lower than what we're showing as the rate that we're looking to move forward with, that's not a fully loaded price overall. It also does not have a component of green energy as part of that as well. So maybe you could fill in a little bit more comments and thoughts about that. Definitely we'll get into that a little bit more detail in our public information meeting and other educational materials that we put out.
Sure. So one of the items that we had to review with Good Energy, because it was a little bit of a learning experience since we're not fully in energy working at a town, was to learn about RECs and ZECs. What that means is renewable energy certificates and zero emission credits. Those are items that are included in an RG&E bill under a different section. And I can't actually remember that off the top of my head, but I believe the initials are SBC. And basically, if you're not getting green energy, you're getting charged those. I'm not fully aware of if you can get charged those in addition, and that's something that we're working out with Good Energy to fully understand. But ours includes all of that. So that 5.733 number of our 50% renewable, there's not an additional cost with that. Just like there's not an additional cost for the administrative fees or anything like that. Everything is together in that number for that supply charge. Supply charge. RG&E will still be doing delivery. That's not going to change. There still will be one bill. For anybody that wants to look at their RG&E bill and maybe understand it a little better, all of that detailed information is written kind of in tiny, tiny print. And if you're looking for something bigger to look at, the RG&E website actually details that. And you can even search REC and ZEC together on the RG&E website, and you'll find that information.
So is it kind of like when you go to a restaurant and the prices include tax or don't include tax?
Yep.
Do we know, can we get an overall comparison between our G&E rate and this rate?
So that was actually offered up to us by Good Energy. The comparison was that, so if our rate is that 5.733 per kilowatt hour, the RG&E rate for the last 3 months, which is what we were looking at that time, was 5.6 and change. I don't remember the last 2 digits. And that's part of why the board made that decision to move forward, because it's such a negligible difference, it made sense. And I think I might actually have that wrong. I don't think it was 5.6, so I'll double check that, but
Okay.
I can provide that information to the group. I just don't have those numbers in front of me.
So as you can imagine, as we were going through, and we were updating, looking to put a contract in place, we were working with Good Energy and our town attorney, Dick Horowitz, and I think we received 3 or 4 different, because every day or 2, they can only guarantee those prices for that moment. And because this commodity is ever changing, every couple of days, it can go up or down. And it was something that, as we took a look at, and the board had the presentation from Sarah, and we had the broader discussion with Good Energy. It was at a point that from a comparison between RG&E and the Good Energy rate that we receive through Constellation brand. I believe that's the Constellation Energy, excuse me.
New Energy.
Constellation Energy, Direct Energy, and Great American Gas and Electric were the 3 primary organizations that quoted for our power. There was a 4th called Source Power Company. They are someone that we thought would be good to get some information. Their primary biz is solar, and we wanted to have that as a comparison. They did not or could not beat the rates of Constellation Energy, but it was something we definitely wanted to take a look at from a solar standpoint overall. So as we narrowed it down, we locked in at the numbers that we locked in, and that includes a 50% green component. And then, as Sarah mentioned, for just a bit of an upcharge, if those residents within the town would like and feel good about having 100% green for fractions of a cent, they can do that. Good Energy said the difference between where we are with 50% renewable and where you would be with 100% renewable, on an average home, it might be about $50 a year difference.
Wow.
So if someone really wanted to get, the 100%, that they could move in that direction.
And just for clarity, it's about an $80 difference.
$80.
Sorry.
Oh, thank you for that clarification. So about an $80 difference, on an annual basis. So
Still relatively doable for someone who cares.
for someone that
Sure.
wants
Sure.
to take the next step. Okay. All right, questions for Sarah. Sarah has really, we've mentioned this before, has really done a great job for us, trying to make sure she's staying ahead of the curve with our friends from Good Energy and all the dynamics associated with putting a contract together. I know even Dick Horowitz was pleased and very supportive of all the work that Sarah did to help boil that down. He had the legal side, she had the technical side, so it was a great combination as we went through, and I felt comfortable when they both nodded to me it was okay to sign. I felt pretty good having the technical piece covered and the legal piece covered overall. So next steps, Sarah, if you just highlight that again, starting with what's coming up in about 10 days.
So I'll start a little before that. We
Okay.
have already started the education portion of the program, which is a 2-month segment. Within that 2-month segment, mailings go out. There's been radio ads already on the radio. There's all different kinds of sources of education that Good Energy has been using for our residents. Part of that will be public information sessions. We are required by the Public Service Commission to host 2 of them, well, Good Energy and us together. So October 4th will be our first public information meeting. As I said before, that's both in person and through Zoom, as well as digitally online. And that is basically so that residents can ask questions, can learn about I'm mixing all my acronyms, about community choice aggregation, as well as the steps that they can take to opt up, opt in, or opt out. And that is because some residents aren't automatically enrolled. If they're with an ESCO or that kind of thing, they can't just roll into it. They will have to take an action to join. And if you're an everyday resident that isn't in something like that, you're automatically enrolled and you have a choice to take yourself out and opt out, as well as to opt up to that 100%. From there, December is when meter reads will happen to start the program for those that are enrolled, and then bills will start coming out after that.
So in discussions with Good Energy, they've got a 24/7 call center that will be available. They have the website, so that is up and running, or soon to be up and running for that activity. We'll have the first general public information meeting. As you mentioned, Sarah, there'll be postcards that'll be mailed out. I think Good Energy had said that they're willing to meet with small groups and neighborhoods and coffee clutches or anything else with the idea of making sure that folks fully understand, as to what is happening. What are their options? They're in if they don't want to be in, to opt out, and then any other little idiosyncrasies of the program. They're essentially available pretty much 24/7 to help answer all those questions. Okay, great. Other questions for Sarah?
Do we have the second public hearing meeting scheduled?
We do not currently
Okay.
have that meeting scheduled. I think they will probably do that based on how the first meeting goes.
Sure.
And then it's possible they'll send postcards out again. It's possible that they'll end up doing radio ads again, just so that that information goes out. I think they want a little more time to do that and not have that overlap.
Did you mean information meeting, not public hearing?
Oh,
Information meeting.
Okay.
yep.
Information,
I
right.
will note that the contact number for the Penfield CCA program is 585-310-0236. That is a common number in this area that we can use, and that goes to that 24/7 call center.
And when that comes in on that number, they know that it is Penfield, New York, and they've got all of the current data in front of them.
That's correct. It is specifically for the Penfield CCA.
Right. So if someone from Buffalo calls, the first question might be after a little bit of a discussion, are you a Penfield resident? And if not, they'll get pushed to probably another location for information. So very tailored to the town. And then, do you happen to have the website information right there, Sarah?
Yep, so that website is penfieldcca.com, C-O-M.
So a little bit different than Penfield penfield.org. So this is a .com, and that is a website that is maintained and managed by Good Energy.
And that is already active.
So folks can go to that, learn a little bit more, have questions, go a little bit deeper with either a phone call to the control center, or I believe they may have something online that you can send in some information and a response.
They do, and they even have a link to the Penfield town website, so that if anybody wants to look at some of the history of what EEAC has done with this and the town board has done with this, they can go to our website to get that information.
Takes us to projects of interest. Or is it set up on
I believe it's under sustainability,
sustainability? We did move that to sustainability.
just recently.
All right, great. Too many things to make sure you keep straight, right? All right.
I'm assuming PCTV is going to tape it and then rerun it, so if people are unable to tune in or on Monday the 4th, whatever, I'm sure we'll run it multiple times from then, and I also have links on our website to it, so hopefully there'll be multiple opportunities for people to watch that public information meeting and get the information they need, so.
Yep. So that is the plan. So thank you for mentioning that, Mark. So that'll be captured, and folks will have the ability to go in and watch it again in its entirety, or bits and pieces of that. So they've got that. Again, the goal is to try to provide as much information to our residents so that whatever decision they make, whether to stay in, opt out, opt up by way of additional green energy, that they've been able to vet that out for themselves and their families personally. So, okay. And then the program officially starts on or around the first week in December, if memory serves me correct?
That is when meter reads would start. So if your meter read is regularly December 20th, that would be your day.
Okay.
Everybody's is a little different.
A little bit different, again, dependent upon meter read.
Yep.
All right. Very good. Anything else? Great job, guys. I mean, I'll just, I've said this before, I'll say it again. Great job by the team, and I know the entire team is not here, but I just want to recognize all of you for the role that you played in some way, shape, or form to help us get to this. I think we did it in a way that was very open, and we wanted to make sure that we vetted it out properly, as transparent as possible, and didn't want to rush to a final decision until we had all the details. And I think that was very, very important overall, and I think that that's what will help the overall success. I know the city of Rochester started their program about 3 months ahead of us. I still say that when all is said and done, we will have surpassed them and have done it even better, more efficient than what the city had done. So great job, and thank you for all that support. All right, let's jump to our other C acronym, CEC, and talk a little bit about the CEC. And I'd like to maybe do just a refresher. We work very closely with Genesee Finger Lakes Planning Council, Regional Planning Council on this. They've Rob and
Jennifer?
Jenny.
What is it?
Jenny or Jennifer?
Jenny.
Yeah, thank you. Lowenstein. And so they've done a lot of work with us. I know that Bob is going to take a minute and update us a little bit about on the recreation courses that they held, and I think wrapped up actually last evening. And that is a contributing factor to help us get some points that'll qualify us for some grant dollars overall. Then I think we need to talk a little bit about the bigger picture of that, and how do we continue down that path of looking to tick off more of the boxes overall. So with that, maybe I'll ask
Sure.
Bob to give us a little snapshot update.
Okay, last Tuesday at 3 o'clock and 7 o'clock, and then yesterday at 3 o'clock and 7 o'clock, there was a course or a program. One was under the DEER program, and the other was one that was part of, I guess, the rec rollout, and it was Electric Cars 101. For the two classes, I believe there were about 45 between the two sessions total in attendance, including some people that zoomed in to the presentation. It was pretty well received. And last night, yesterday afternoon, and then last night, kind of to finish up the program, there were 4 of us that were delivering the course that had our electric vehicles out in the parking lot at the community center, and the attendees could ask us questions and see the cars, but it was, I think, very well received. The plan, too, is to possibly repeat that in winter and spring. So, that's kind of up in the air right now. And thanks, too, to Color Penfield Green. They were really the ones, Al Hibner and Katie Rigg, that really put a lot of this together with a number of different people, and of course, Town of Penfield staff, Sarah. So I think it went very well.
Excellent.
And I'd agree, it did go very well. The presentations were very thorough, and it was helpful, I think, for the residents to hear people talk about their car experiences, as well as to meet some dealers and learn about what that process is and how they can also get some rebates, both through the state and through other means. There is another one coming up in 2 weeks that will be the Clean Heating, Cooling, and Energy Efficiency class. That's only one night and one day for each. And we've already applied to NYSERDA to get those approved so that we can potentially get grant money through that, through the Clean Energy Community Program. We have not received the final approval yet, but we did receive approval to have the classes and that they can still count towards that, even if they are before the final approval. NYSERDA is a little understaffed right now.
That's great. And Sarah is coordinating that while Penfield Color Green and Bob and others helped on that program. They did that, putting the program together. They did the training. All of that will be funneled back, or has been funneled back to Sarah, and Sarah will be our point person going back to NYSERDA just to make sure the things that we're doing are proper, we haven't missed anything, and do tick off the boxes we need to tick off. And I thought it was important, for a member of our staff to be that point person, lead person. So Mark was gracious enough to allow Sarah to do that in addition to her other duties in engineering, but to be that point person as well. And then I think it's also important to talk about a few of the other boxes that we're working on, because the goal, there are those high impact action items for us to continue to work on. And a couple of others that we're working on is, as we move forward, there is going to be a training program here. I believe it's in November It'll be actually here. I think NYSERDA is doing 2 programs. One will be here at the town hall, and that's where we do the energy code enforcement training and train compliant officers in energy code best practices. And so Heidi Bale, who is our Director of Building, Zoning, Code Enforcement, Fire Marshal, she is sending her whole team to that because it's going to be here in the building. And it's a great way to just have her whole team certified. So that'll be another box that we'll be able to tick off. And again, the more boxes that we tick off, and as we work forward, the more potential dollars, grant dollars that we're able to apply for and be able to work towards overall. And then, we'll continue to be working on the Climate Smart certification, community certification. And a little bit later here in the agenda, I'll talk a little bit about street lighting project. And again, that's another component that as we look at our street lights, converting to LED lights to make those as efficient as possible and part of the lead technology. So, all right.
There's
other comments?
one other name that I missed here from Color Penfield Green. Igor Olovich was also, very much a part of the presentation. Did a key part of some of the pieces of both the part 1 and part 2.
Great.
So,
thank you, Bob.
Yep.
As well as, if we're putting that in, as well as I think it was Becca that did a guest appearance from Webster. A resident
Yes.
of Webster also did a guest appearance to help where it was needed for one of the classes.
Right.
They all did a great job, and they all did a lot of work to get that going.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Bob. Thank you, Sarah. Other questions?
Hey, Tony, this is Sinette.
Hey, Sinette.
Hi.
Great to see you.
Thank you.
All the way from Missouri?
Mississippi.
Oh, Mississippi.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. So the question I was going to ask is, has the board been able to make any progress on the resolution for the climate smart community?
The board has not taken any formal action. That is something that we had talked, actually Bob Knauer and I spoke about earlier this morning to get that into the queue with the town board for their review. Our next formal legislative session is going to be on the 6th of October. So I think that's a goal that we should work towards if we're able to do that. There's a short legislative session tonight that's really for the introduction of the tentative budget that we have to get into place. But October 6th would be that next opportunity, Sinette.
Okay, thank
And
you.
for clarity, I missed it. Is that for clean energy communities or climate smart communities?
That's the climate smart one.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Sinette.
Yes,
Great
because
question.
that's
Yes.
the other big ticket item, right? Is the climate smart certification.
Correct.
Yeah, Tony, I was going to ask is whether, as we're moving forward with these groups, I think we need to formally join them. Do we need first, I know this committee's talked about them at length, do we need an official recommendation from this group to join Clean Energy and Climate Smart, and then obviously a formal adoption or a formal resolution from the town board to join those programs, and then obviously the commitment to, fund those as we go forward with the board. So I don't know if we need to take that action, or, we've been going down that road for a while now, but I don't know if the town board's going to look from this group to have a formal recommendation to join those 2 committees, or what your thought is on that.
So I would say that, definitely the town board has taken their lead from this committee. We've kind of been that group to vet everything out and to make the recommendations back to the board, or to then encourage them to take some appropriate actions. So I would see us, looking to make that recommendation to the board for their consideration. Obviously, they'll have that final say, but if it's supported by this group, I think that's the first key action point that we would have, or trigger point to make that happen. So,
With that, Tony, it may be beneficial to have that endorsement for the larger picture item prior to the smaller picture item, since they're steps. So it may be beneficial to have it for clean energy communities first, and then I don't think it would be necessary to take it for the climate smart, and Mark, correct me if I'm wrong, because then they would already be moving forward with that. So rather than doing two, I think they could do one.
incorporate it into the one.
Yeah.
Okay. Senat, is that, did you get that part of that conversation?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I think that does make sense for us. I think it would be nice for us to have a strategy at least somehow documented so that everybody is kind of aware of our intent to move forward with those and why.
Yep, good point. And that would be something we could also put on our sustainability page as well, so that we've captured that.
Right, because at some point, I think for one of them, we actually have to get a citizens committee together. And I don't know whether our committee actually serves as that citizens committee, but that would be if it was on our website in the sustainability area, it would definitely attract some other citizens with that interest.
Okay, good point. All right. We'll talk a little bit more about that. We'll get some time here internally with maybe Sarah, Mark, and myself, and others that may want to join in and talk about that. Okay, very good. Phyllis Ely has also joined us, our communications director, so she is with us and in the house. Welcome. All right. Other questions on CEC, Climate Smart? Anything along those lines? Okay. Let's move on to a couple of folks have been asking about the Monroe County Water Authority solar project that's out in Watson-Hurlbut Road. And I thought Mark might be able to give us a little update as to where they are and kind of what the status of the project is.
Sure. So the Water Authority has been working on this project for a little bit of time now. We've shared it with this group. Actually, you can see the superstructure stuff going up. They've installed the pilings. They had all the brackets and everything else. I was there a week or more ago. Sarah's been there subsequent to that and said they've got about 2/3 of the panels up already. Was excited to hear from them an update that they've got actually bifacial solar panels that get the bounce back off the ground. So there's actually solar panels on the front and the back, so they get the ground bounce. And I think, Bob, correct me if I'm wrong, I think they said they got another 10 or 15% boost off of having the bifacial panels up. That
Yeah.
was exciting to see with what they had on that. I just recently, to my delay, gotten the stuff to PCTV or sent it to the website to get that up on our page for community interest. They had released a press release from the Water Authority basically saying the meat and potatoes of the project, who the contact is if there's questions. They're actually using Sol Systems as their group they're working with. The county still owns the property, so it's Water Authority property. They're basically doing a lease similar to kind of what we do, and then Sol Systems is the one that's running the solar panels project over there. So it's hopefully offsetting Water Authority power, and they're becoming more green on their end as well. But exciting to see that coming along and panels going up, and they seem to be progressing along quickly.
And remind us again, Bob or Mark, size of that system that's going up?
That's around 5 megawatts. The one that we have by our highway garage is 1.3. But as Mark mentioned, with the bifacial panels and the fact that they have trackers east-west, you probably get a good 15 to 20% more production versus if they were just conventional panels that were at a fixed angle. So that's kind of the next
Generation, huh?
generation of what you're seeing in the Northeast for solar farms. So they're able to, squeak a little bit more energy out of the same real estate footprint.
It was interesting to see. I think you passed along the detail that's showing the hinge that they can actually tip the panels, throughout the day or throughout the season to, adjust to the angle of the sun and everything else. It was kind of neat to see that they can
Is that,
do
is
that and
that
adjust.
automatic? Is that something manual that has to be done, or is that automatic
that's-
as it follows the
Yeah,
angle of the sun?
That's automatic, and I'm guessing the controllers aren't even, they're probably programmed just because, or just using GPS location
Got it.
and the seasons, all programmed in that way.
Got it.
So,
Yep.
So the power that's generated is used for operations within the Water Authority. That administrative component, of water delivery, there's the administration, they got the operation and maintenance, they've got any new construction and things like that. That all figures into our quarterly bills that we get. Anything that they produce can go against their overall annual costs, which could help lower that cost. Can you give us a sense, 5 megawatt system? I mean, give us some type of a benchmark, Bob, if you would. What does that look like? Is that got the ability to power 500 homes on an annual basis, or some
with-
potential reference point?
yeah, the 5 megawatt compared to, ours, I guess just by scale, the actual energy produced is probably going to be about roughly 7 times larger than Penfield's, and Penfield's was the equivalent of maybe about 125 homes. So if you, in round numbers, that system would generate enough power for about 875 households.
Pretty
for
impressive.
an entire year.
For the entire year. Talking about, yearly production.
And to note, that is a substantially larger property
Yeah,
than
they've
ours.
got almost
That's important, too.
40 acres. I mean, it's a sizable facility.
Yeah,
If you go out
what's
there and
ours,
look, it's-
4 or 5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think 4.9 acres is what we had to carve off so that, because we couldn't have meters, we couldn't have multiple meters on one tax account numbered property.
Yeah.
So we had to subdivide, still within town of Penfield ownership, but to give us another parcel to put a separate meter on.
Yeah, so like Penfield's project, that project would be net metered. So the power would enter the grid through the primary distribution, probably what's going down Penfield Road. And then the Water Authority can earmark the power that's generated from that facility to any of their meters within the area, in their service area. So like Tony mentioned, they're large pump stations, anything that's part of their infrastructure.
Good point. All right. Great. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Mark. The next item is a streetlight project overview, and I thought it would be good just to update the committee with what is happening with this. So now, several months ago, the town board authorized our Director of Public Works, Eric Tate, to enter into a contract to do an actual audit of our lights. So as you can imagine, with the number, and it's in the hundreds, I want to say 400 to 500 streetlights that the town of Penfield owns outright. And they're in varying degree of the type of fixture, the type of bulb that is in there. Ideally, where we would like to be is to have all of them LED. That is the most efficient. And Jim Kreckman here over the last several years has slowly been changing those out. But as you can imagine, doing 10, 20, 30 a year is going to take us a long time to get to where we need to be. So this company has actually started the process. They're doing the inventory. They'll come back to us. They'll verify that the ones that we believe we own, we actually own, and that RG&E is not tacking on a few others to us that we're paying for on their behalf. And then they're going to identify all of the various lights, the condition of those lights. And then they'll be coming back with a recommendation, from a change out, and then to do that a little bit quicker so that we have the opportunity to get our savings and realize our savings a little bit faster overall. One of the components of the plan as well is that the streetlights will have the capability of reporting back to DPW, back to our facilities group to say, hey, a light's out. Today we have to rely on folks driving by or calling up and saying, hey, the light is out when our folks are here working. Most of them typically is during the day, and so we don't always know what we don't know. And a lot of times we have to rely on our residents to come back with that information. This smart technology will be able to tell us that if a light is out. It also has the ability at those some of those times during the late evening, early morning, when traffic is less. It's got the ability to take those lights down a little bit, not shut them off, but to take them down so they don't have to be as bright when you don't have as much traffic on the roads. Hence yet another savings overall. The goal is to have that survey completed this year, and then the town board is interested in starting that process and trying to do it over possibly a 2-year to get it taken care of, and we would start that changeover in 2022, and if we're fortunate to be able to start and complete it in 2022. So just some things that are going on. Again, that is another one of the items, as I'd mentioned in our high impact action items, is the LED streetlights. So, and the goal there is 50% or more conversion, and that's something that may be able to be attained in 2022. So, questions, comments? Eric and Jim Kreckman are managing that on our behalf from a town standpoint. Yeah, Phyllis.
Any update on the availability of inventory for purchase of fixtures? Great question.
So that probably is one of our biggest stumbling blocks, and that is the availability of materials. So no different than a lot of industry is seeing for houses with wood products, other building trades with metal and things like that. So that will probably be a stick point moving forward, because if you recall, that was one of the areas that Jim was having a hard time early on. We had budgeted for a certain amount, and he was willing and able to do it, but he was running short on materials. So that'll be a big. So that's I appreciate you bringing that to the table and for the record, because that would be probably the main item as to why we couldn't get things as converted as quick as we'd like. So, all right. Anything else? All right, moving forward, Shadow Pines and the Clark House. This is an item that comes up every now and again, and I thought it would be important for this group to be aware of where we are. So let me first talk a little bit about the property itself, Shadow Pines. There are three things that are currently going on. One, and those are the three major items within the Shadow Pines conceptual master plan. One is the pickleball, and there has been a lot of interest regarding pickleball, and the town board here over the last month or month and a half had a number of residents come in and talk about pickleball. So we're working on that aspect of it with BME, who's our consultant. The second item that we're working on, BME with is laying out the disc golf course, and we have started that. We've cut in a rough course. And the next step is that BME, Andrew Spencer, will be pulling together a group of about a dozen to 20 individuals at different levels, from beginners to novice to advanced, and then the kind of the professional level, for their input and feedback about how it plays, what does it look like, things that may need to be changed, considered, and things like that. The third component, and then this just recently happened, in fact, before this meeting I was looking at some photos where we had about a half a dozen different bike organizations that have come together to look at layout of biking trails on the former back nine, is where that would be set up. And that would include family biking, it would include some mountain biking, it would include some biking with those residents that may have some disabilities. So they have assembled a wonderful group of people to get their voice in the room as it relates to that. So those are the three major items that are happening with the property itself. As it relates to the Clark House, we have been working very diligently with Bergman, who was Bergman Associates, who was a selected professional engineering group to work on the Clark House. They have completed a number of different phases. The next phase that we're at is that, and Eric Tate today met with 3 different asbestos mold contractors, and they did a complete walkthrough inside and outside. There has to be about 19 different access points that have to be opened up primarily on the outside, so that they can identify to what degree there is rot, mold, and additional asbestos work that would have to be done. Their plan is to have their proposals back to Eric next Friday, so that would be October 1st, next Friday. And then we'd be looking for the town board to select the best, most responsible price to have that work go forward. And again, the idea is that then they would be able to tell us what it's going to take to bring that to code, and whether we look to rebuild it, rehab it, whatever the case is. That will be the data that the board will use to move forward with the Clark House at some point, probably starting as soon as 2021 winter, or early 2022 late winter, early spring. Questions, comments?
Will that estimate of cost be broken down into what was the original Clark House, and then as the second section, all the additions that were put on there? Okay.
It will, and that's been part of that discussion is, and it's kind of interesting that Bergman, when they met with the town board now several weeks ago to give kind of a status of where they were and what they needed to do, they identified that the original building, which I believe was 1832, as they took a look at that building as compared to the additions that were put on, said that the 1832 building, the original building, probably was in better shape than the additions that were put on thereafter. So the first conclusion you might draw is that were the additions done somewhat half-assed? And that's kind of where I automatically went to. Not that the 1832 doesn't have its own problems with some mold and some mildew and some things like that, but structurally that seems to be in better shape than the additions overall. And if everyone recalls, originally when the property went up and the town was looking to acquire it, the goal was to get the land. The Clark House, which was on its separate parcel of 4.9 acres in 3 buildings, that was the deal breaker with Oldcastle, that if you want the property, then you got to take that facility as well. And that's kind of been the pig in the poke at the end of the day. So anyways, other questions or comments on Clark House? All right, very good. We've got some events coming up. We've got the National Electric Week event coming up this Saturday at RIT from 10 to 2. Bob probably is the most familiar with that because he's been involved with the Clean Energy Group.
Sure. Yeah, this will be the 9th year we've done this event, the 3rd year at RIT, and we expect about 80 owner cars there, about 200 people between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. There'll be a food truck there. So if people are interested, they can just show up. It's in Lot T on campus. And if they're interested to register, probably the easiest way to find the registration site is to just Google National Drive Electric Week and just drill down to the Rochester event, and you'll find it there.
All right. Very good. And if I recall correctly, our current governor has shared with us that the current legislation put in place is that New York will be all electric by 2035?
I think so. That's the current goal.
So if you've got that, big V8 engine this or big V8 engine that, that could be a dinosaur here in another handful of years, and we'll be driving electric vehicles.
Well, and there will be some electric trucks coming out, so that'll be nice in SUVs.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for that first electric snowplow and what that looks like when you're pushing several tons of heavy snow along Penfield Road. So we'll see. I know technology is a wonderful thing and it keeps advancing every year, but to date, I'm not aware of any electric vehicle that has that capability today. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. We may be going to electric snowmobiles to get around in the winter. So,
I know Ford has an electric truck. I know Sinette probably can share on the GM side, but I know Ford has
GM has,
pickup truck, but
Yeah.
not a plow truck. But it's good to see at least they're expanding the offerings or what's out there.
Yep, good point.
Sorry, go ahead, Sinette.
So anything on the horizon for 10-wheelers loaded with 20 tons of salt and 4 or 5 tons of steel hanging off the front to plow? That,
I believe that's when the hydrogen vehicles will step into the picture again.
Very
I think
good.
they're going to need those for the more power. But yes, GM also has a truck. We have the Hummer truck coming out too. I think is our first release of a truck version of a vehicle.
Got it.
So is the New York mandate that's for municipal vehicles?
I think that's for all vehicles. When I quickly read that piece of legislation, Sinette, I think that the goal by the governor was 2035.
For passenger vehicles.
Yeah, for passenger vehicles.
Okay, interesting.
Not just municipal. These are all passenger vehicles.
Yeah, I just think it'd be hard to mandate people to make that decision as a force. I guess it just means you're not going to be allowed to register that in the state of New York. So
certainly that's one way to go. Yeah, and then another way to go certainly, could make it very cost prohibitive. I mean, there are a number of things that could be done to help turn that tide as we move forward. Stay tuned. Let's see. That's.
What are they going to do with all the gas stations?
Hopefully
They're going to
turn
be
them into electric.
repurposed as electrical vehicle charging stations. They're going to need the infrastructure.
Yep.
And or a combination of electric and hydrogen, right?
Yep.
Potential.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. That's just around the corner. That's 14 years from now. So that's just around the corner.
When your kids will be driving.
I may even
Yep.
I may even see that. Another 14 years. So I may still see that.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully. All right. Well, hopefully by that time it'll be a total electric with the golf cart out on the golf course. So then I'll be ahead of the curve. All right. The next event, the next two events are coming up. Not this weekend, but the following weekend, Friday the 1st and Saturday the 2nd. That's our fall drop-off dates. And that Friday event starts at 7:30, not at 8 o'clock, but 7:30 for that and 7:30 on Saturday. And then we have document destruction where you can bring in any of those old tax records, confidential items that you may have in a banker box someplace in your house or garage and what have you. Bring those in. The truck will be on site. You'll be able to watch your material ground and pulverized to a pulp and get all of that taken care of as you start to look at closing out 2021, getting ready for 2022. And we'll try to do an event. We try to do a couple of those during the course of the year because they are very popular, and the individual house shredders that many of us have just are good for the onesie-twosies, but some of the bigger, bulkier things, it's great to have this event. I think it's a great service for our community overall. So that's what we had on the agenda. Anything else that, for the good of the committee and good of our residents, that we need to put on the table for discussion? All right. Our next meeting, our next regularly scheduled meeting is for December 15th. If things with COVID continue to stay the way we are and we're able to come together, historically we've always used that day as having some holiday snacks here at our meeting to do that. So if the COVID continues to be what it is and we're able to do that, that'll be something that we'll look to do at that meeting as well as we close out 2021. All right. Sinette, travel safe. Be well and be safe overall. And for the rest.
Thank you for letting me tag in here. I appreciate this.
We're delighted that you could join us, so thank you. All right, seeing no further business to come before the committee, the September 22nd, 2021 meeting of the Energy Environmental Advisory Council will stand adjourned at 5 p.m. Thank you one and all. Thank you, PCTV.